on the right, the clump formation, that's from Jiribam side, bordering Assam. See, lifestyle of the region, how we use bamboo for different usages like chicken or something like that. And two things for a Northeast, we have different tribes, more than 200, 300 groups in the whole of Northeast. What happens is there are two elements to represent a group. One is a textile. By the color, by the pattern, by the weave, by the motifs, you know that this tribe is from this. This is from Mishimi, or this is from Garo, this is from the Tangkhul, or this is from the Og. And the second part is the basketry. Every basketry elements are different from this group. And these two things represents a group, a tribe of the Northeast. Way back in 2000 when the first Kiran bamboo technology started at this premises, what happens is there was one expert from Philippines. He was telling us about the basketry exports. China ranks 1, Philippines ranks 2. Philippines doesn't have any the tribal resources or something. They copied design from other places. India doesn't rank any. Because what happens if you collect two baskets from 300 groups will be 600 baskets. If you make in mass production, then we can market a lot. But we can't, I don't know why, we can't compete with the other peoples. See, these are the ways of life. We have this basketry, how the middle women holding a basketry in the middle, in the street, and different, what you call this, backpack. We have, each tribe has a different backpack. You must be knowing about, since Meghalaya is very close by, the backpack of the kashis, they are pointed on the tip and at the bottom. You know, because some of the hill area are steep, that's why they just lean on it. Otherwise, some has 4 bases or something like that, which can stand on its own. Basketry and lifestyle. These are a different basketry from Manipur. And these, I went long time back for a survey for Confederation of Indian Industry. There I went to Zero. Even the covering of what you call these houses, all platinum bamboos. Even the, what you call this, nose design, tattooing. And these are several, what you call this, products sold in the market. The other one with the boy is from Borpeta Weekly Market. And you can see one of the baskets, the geometrical form is so beautiful. It's done without knowing about geometry. See, these are baskets we collected from all over the Northeast. And this was the photographs from an exhibition at Yangon. The minister, what you call the embassy over there had invited our group, me, myself, and a curator of a museum from Impal. We went there for a traveling music exhibition at what you call Yangon and Mandalay. You can see the beauty of it's like over here. This is a for fish container. Now what happens is packaging can be made, but what happens, basketry can be made, but we have to make in bulk, thousands, millions. But how can we cope it? Because our artisans are, what you call this, like a hobby. During the rainy season time, they'll make at home. Otherwise, in the other season, they'll go to the paddy field and do the field works. So we have to train people to make things in large quantities. Like these are the baskets. I think everybody must be knowing from Nagaland, Mon district, Konyak. Incidentally, a friend of mine and myself, we went to there. My friend is Nalin Pandya, or Pan Nalin is known. He has made a film called The Nagas for the Discovery Channel. There we stayed 25 days and we know about the lifestyle, the beauty, how they do in basketry works. Packaging used here in the Northeast. There are several packaging methods usually traditionally made from bamboo and cane, say for vegetable foods, live chicken, birds, animals, and different types of clothes. Over here, what I observed in the Northeast, the packaging material, one is bamboo, One is rattan or cane. Another one is, we have over here in Assam, in a lot, in abundantly, there's this water hyacinth or metaka. And we have this chitalpati. Then we have silk. Raw silk, that rough weaving we can use for packaging. And in Manipur, there's a material called kauna. Kauna is only grown all over the country, in Manipur only. It's called Eleucharis, Scirpus lacustris in botanical name. See, these are the beauties of the different, what you call this, container baskets with lead. And this is how the baskets are weaved. This is called bow. In Manipur, a tribe called, what you call, from the Maram side, they make these things. It's used for grain storage. And this one, Kamesh is also shown. The middle one is for cloth storing. See, these are the different need for natural material for packaging. Like I have mentioned earlier about the Karen bamboo, this Unido, through Unido we have started this thing. Lots of new challenges like the apple packaging, the santras of Nagpur, the alus, then lots of things can be done with, tea is one more thing. Packaging from natural material, packaging can be of many forms, high-end, low cost for easily disposable one, like what we mentioned earlier, what I heard from a different speaker earlier, like for tea, it's a very costly item. If you make a pack or something gift item, once the, what you call this, the tea is consumed, then the container or a container can be used for keeping different valuable items. Low cost, easily disposable one, once a time, for one time use like fruits, vegetable and other items. These are the high-end, what you call this, packaging designs. These are, and what I learned from IIT Bombay, my association with the Bamboo Studio, there we conducted some training through KBIC about the artisan, how to train them for making mass production. There are several aids towards that. Oh, I want to show this first. These are from the northeast only. The middle one, which Kamesh has shown a product called long. From there, I miniaturize it and put a container and put a, what you call this, a top lid so that it can be made. And the bottom one, they are from from Nagaland. These are several of the products which I developed. One, the colorful one, which I developed in Bhutan, is using that bangchung weave, the colorful one. These are that kauna material which I've talked about. I've developed this product. One, I've developed several products for a net fee. They are conducted in Imphal. Another one I've conducted at R&D Center, Khetri. And I think everybody must have visited, some of you must have visited this center at Khetri. There you can see a bamboo one-storied hut. It's a storeroom. The team from Manipur, we have constructed. I myself designed the structure for the net fee. I was working for different product development for them. These are the other one, the product over there, it's a technique called coil technique. From the flat bamboo called sliver, we just, you just go round and round, and after that you put some, what you call, fevicol and sawdust. Then you make into several forms by beating. These are some of the products which I developed in Manipur through the different NGOs and artisans. And the other one is a high-end. We have this laminates I've used. We need to study the details of various forms of packing item made from bamboo, say from deformed bamboo, splits, sticks, plats, slivers, and other forms based on requirement. Most of the forms of packaging, say weaving and other methods, are still using the traditional methods. One has to explore if these can be replicated in large scale using mass scale production. See how bamboo, what you call this, bamboo crafts in practice, that old man carrying his grandkid on a back and weaving leisurely. And this one is a basket, this is a measuring basket. From there, convert into value-added product by stitching some cloth. This is a hit product in Manipur where the women used to carry for formal functions. See what I've mentioned earlier, that mass production technique. These are several methods like molds, jigs, and fixtures. There's one palm which can be, this is knocked down, the middle one over here. Over here you can weave it. And same palm can be replicated from 2 to any numbers of things, at same size, same design. And there are several methods for several tools. These are some of the skill training for mass production. Can we compete with this? There are also Assami Dao, Manipuri tools. Can we compete with this? Nowadays, A's for job-specific tools, with IIT Bombay. This is IIT Bombay, one Professor Ajira, who is closely associated. He has designed this tool under the DC Handicraft. They have been produced more than 6,000 pieces all over India and distributed to different NGOs. But I don't know how much has it reached. And this is a slivering machine, which that now you can see in Taiwan or other places, which can be used making for bamboo plates for what you call mat makers. It can be used manually because in the rural area we don't have electricity. But there is a attachment with a pulley. Then if there is some power is there, electricity, then you can attach a motor and you can operate both ways. One need to consider the designing aspect is to develop packing for all forms in a systematic manner for all forms of transportation, both perishable and non-perishable items. What we see from the notice, like if you make a sofa or something like that, that it's in bulk, it's not knocked down. The transporter charges in the sizes, but not in weight. That's why the need arises like for making it knock down, stacking or something like that. Now, the main part is GI. We have talked about the Nermat, they have done lots of vegetables, lots of what you call. I worked for 3 projects in Manipur. We have got for 3 fabrics called Moirang Pi, Wangkai Pi, and what you call this, the knitted wall, the embroidered wall called Safilan Pi. Now there's a pipeline to do more about 10 crafts, like bell metal craft is there, then we have basketry, then we have this kauna. So today I talked to one of the former director of, so that if kauna is the only material grown all over, grown in the country, not anywhere else. There's one case, like I found a product in one of the exhibitions, they're very similar way of products, and I asked them, where is this from? You know that Majuli Island, they have a similar one, but it's very rigid, it can be very brittle, but kauna is soft, it's a foamy material. So GI, I think, GI Act, the duration is it protects for 10 years. Whereas if you patent your design, anything new, then it's only for 5 years. GI we can do in community. Since the community in the Northeast, we don't have money. So most of the GI registration is done by the government of Manipur, initially now. And I think luckily this horticulture department, they have like this very famous rice called Sakho, the purple rice, the aromatic one. Then through Nirmako Apeda, I don't know, it's registered under GI. Then one mirchi, or what you call sirakong, the long one, and the kachai lemon. And there is also some new one coming up from the horticulture department. The new call is that everyone is very conscious of the use of natural material, in short, eco-friendly. One which is biodegradable plastics. So the scope is more on the usages of natural material like bamboo, reed, water hyacinth, coir, jute, and so on. The designing of new packaging methods will depend on the selection of material, since the property of the material mentioned above differs. A new challenge for the designer, thinkers, and other think tank to work out in details about the practicality of the solution to fit the need of the art. Not to forget, one has to produce in bulk. So whenever I conduct a design workshop, I said, don't forget about design. Design, you can see thousands of the similar thing you want to do. But only thing you have to equip how to make in masses. When Amazon orders, they won't be ordering one or two. They'll be ordering 100 pieces, 500 feet, 1,000 pieces of the same type. If the sizes differs, then they reject. So we have to equip with the mass production technology, especially the IIT model, IIT Bombay model, which I work very closely with IIT, and even develop a curricula for the GTZ long time back, some years back through what you call this CPTC. Finally, I hope my short, deliberation will get some, knowledge so that we can interact for future development for the Northeast. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think by now you must have understood Sukumar ji, Hindi में थोड़ा हिंदी इंग्लिश में बोलेंगे. So he comes from a design background. He is the alumni of NIFD Ahmedabad. That's why NID, National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad. You know, those ladies' bag or the purse, computer carrying, or some of the design storage. You have seen, you know, we buy Louis Vuitton, you know, like 2 lakh, 2.5, 3 lakhs. I mean, that looks better than that. Though it is a secondary packaging in terms of our packaging science, not a primary. So you cannot pack a lot of product like pickles or, you know, fruit pulp and only directly on this kind of basket. But think about, in a current packaging mode, what we have a primary packaging, that is multi-layer, fossil fuel based, big pouch, and then that goes in a corrugated box. So corrugated box, you know, from natural you make a pulp and so many energy use and all this, then you make corrugated, 7-ply, 3-ply, 5-ply. If we use this kind of bamboo crate nicely, and inside you have a thin layer, so weight by weight it will be 2-3%. You can have a equal product keeping and product storage. You know, we talk about during lunch, pickle you are talking about. So the answers are there. We'll have to do research and then we'll have to write a specification. Thank you, sir, for...
Yeah, one more thing. Very recently what happened to Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog is very much interested in bamboo development. I was in a subcommittee member for 2 sections. One is design, handicraft and lifestyle. Another one, since I'm associated with what you call skill development, like through my association with a National Vocational Training Scheme and NBTS and GTZ. They now are concentrating how to develop for higher studies in the school, in the college, in the university, and even for research. Even now I'm the jury member for a student in bamboo, doing on this bamboo furniture. Okay, thank you.
Right, thank you, sir. Yeah. So my next speaker I will introduce. I mean, these are all, you know, like master class, you know, people giving presentation. You should make best use of this. Dr. Gautam Das, he is basically hailed from Tripura, a small northeastern state of India. He completed his BSc, then from the College of Agriculture, Central Agricultural University, Imphal, Manipur, and subsequently MSc, Dairy Economics, and PhD, Agricultural Economics from the National Dairy Research Institute, Karnal, Haryana. He joined National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management, Tanjore, formerly IIFPT, Tamil Nadu, as an associate professor. He has been working in NIPTEM, Liaison Office, Guwahati, as officer in charge since January 2015. He was involved in teaching undergraduate BTech courses. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So, esteemed panelists and most importantly, all the participants know who are the blood of any program. So, very good afternoon to all of you. And at first, I would like to extend my, on behalf of my institute, I would like to extend my thanks to organizer FIPS as well as the Apeda for inviting our institute in this program. So, thank you very much, sir. And as we have gone through since morning, we have gone through an excellent session where lots of eminent speakers who are actually the stars of their own field, no, they deliberated on specific aspects of food packaging, specific materials. So I don't know, being an economist, how far I will be able to do justice to my presentation. And even then I'll try to speak some of the areas where I have a few knowledge during my association in the Indian Institute of Food Processing Technology that is presently in IFTEM. So today I will be speaking on conventional storage techniques and natural packaging methods for agro products in India. What are the different prospects as well as the different challenges, you know. So basically you see the structure of our Indian economy is basically a mixed economy where the coexistence of service sector, manufacturing and agriculture is there, you know. And in this mixed economic structure, agriculture plays a vital role, you know, whereby 18.6% of GDP is coming from agriculture and allied sector, and this sector is also giving employment opportunity and direct and indirect livelihood opportunity for about 65% of the population. No? So it's a huge sector important for our rural livelihood generation, agriculture. Now, since independence, we have come across long way in terms of food grain production or other food production in our India, no? Because of green revolution, high input use and package of practices. All those things helped us to come over the food shortages that we faced in the since in the British period, that famine. Now we are not only the surplus, we are in fact exporting so much of primary as well as processed agriculture commodities. If we see the present statistics, now presently we are producing 296 million tons of food grains, oilseeds around 33, horticulture around 331, and in fact in case of milk production we are number one, 188 million tons of milk we are producing. So that means we are now in surplus, and you see in recent geopolitical dynamics also, you will see how much demand is coming for Indian wheat also and other food grains also to minimize or to normalize these price fluctuations and demand shortage, especially the wheat in the market. So there are lots of demand and opportunity for exports coming for Indian agriculture sector, and that is giving an ample opportunity toward traders, producers for trade, especially in the high value agro horticultural commodities. You know, it's giving ample opportunity for trade, and gradually over the years we have seen our export also has increased tremendously. But the problem is that the way the export should be increased, the share of our country in the world trade is not so encouraging, because it is far behind what it should be. You know, there are so many factors why we are lagging behind export and why we are not able to catch the potentiality. Quality is one of the aspects where our these products are getting rejected in the international market because of the quality aspect also. And you see, whatever we are producing in the whole value chain or supply chain network, starting from farmer field until it reaches to the consumption table at various stages, starting from processing, value addition, storage, transportation, wholesaling, distribution. At each and every level, altogether, there is a huge wastage in the whole supply chain. Especially the one study showed that around 12 to 16 million metric ton per year is what we are wasting in the whole supply chain as far as the food grains is concerned. You know, and especially in case of perishable item, that is highly perishable fruits and vegetables, this wastage is to the tune of around 20 to 30%. So it's a huge amount of wastage is happening, and for that our government is losing annually 1 lakh crore approximately of money, you know, annually. So it's a huge wastage what is happening. So what it indicates, and again it has been seen that at different level of this value chain, the maximum that wastage happens in the storage phase. That means the storage, and in case of packaging, we are very much lagging behind, you know. So storage, if we can improve the storage and packaging and handling, then it can surely minimize not only the wastage but also maximize the economic opportunity by way of creating and high-end value chain, not only for domestic consumer but also for export market also. That is where the significance of storage and packaging and processing comes. Now, as I told, that storage, when we do, it definitely increases the shelf life of the product. That is why we are storing our agro commodities. And it, of course, ensure availability at different period of times. When the market is in glut, huge, abundant supplies are available. If we store it, then we can make availability at later period of time when the producers are not there. No, so it creates time utility, form utility, as well as place utilities. At different places also we can distribute it if we store it in the glut season. And of course, you see the fate of the farmer in any developing or any country is that now the price fluctuation is such that when the price in the market is very high, farmer will be interested to produce more in the next season, and when in the next season the production is more, the price of the commodity will fall. So farmers are always in the trap of fluctuation, price fluctuation. So that means when the storage is there, adequate quantity, that help us to normalize the price fluctuation in the market, and it also ensures the supply chain normalization, and also ensures the distribution and food security, in the sense that it helps to distribute the commodity, food grains, these things to the less privileged population through public distribution system, all those things. So from these things we surely understand that storage assumes great importance for any agrarian economy. There is no and what are the storage parameters? That temperature, relative humidity, atmospheric compositions, light, these are the important storage parameters whenever you store the commodity that we have to keep in mind, because when temperature is then less than the optimum, that it will create chilling injuries. When it is more than optimum, that it will spoil the commodity. Similarly, humidity, if it is more than humidity is less, relative humidity, then there will be shrinkage in the product, and when the relative humidity is more, then naturally the microorganism or spoilage, all those kind of spoilage will be more. So these are the factors that we have to keep in mind while storing the products in any kind of storage techniques. Now you see, as far as our Indian agriculture sector is concerned, we are basically predominantly we are having around 80 to 85% marginal or smallholder farmer. So everybody is producing small quantity in a scattered way. So they are resource poor. They maximum time they resort to distress sell. No, immediately they have to get to meet their family needs. No, so they are, because of their resource poor nature, they cannot participate in the high-end value chain network. So of course they cannot get the benefit of modern storage technology. So what is happening in case of India, both conventional storage techniques as well as the modern storage techniques all are available, but predominantly India is the maximum that predominant storage methods and techniques are conventional in nature, because the modern techniques has not reached each and every corner equally throughout the India. So as far as the conventional storage is concerned, no, in situ storage is the one of the thing that is practiced, and that is farmers keep their crop in plant or on field until it is required or until it ripes. No, it is simple techniques. Then solarization, as far as we know, everybody is familiar with solarization, to heat the food grains in the barren field, tarpaulin or pakka floor at 20 degrees centigrade or more temperature. No, it helps to kill the not only helps to reduce the moisture content, but also kills the insect pest infestation also. And then open fireplace. You see, in tribal areas or village areas, what is happening, the smallholder farmer basically for domestic storage and domestic consumption, no, so they basically store some of the grains or cereals commodity, even some wheat product also, they put hanging on in their kitchen. So that smoke and fire which is coming from the kitchen, that cures the that commodity, and it improves its shelf life as well as protect from infestation or spoilage. This is another technique. and open air storage of food grains and like maize in bunches hanging on some sticks or rope is also common practice across rural area. That in fact I have gone in Arunachal Pradesh, Tawang some days before, so I have seen this practice also going on. The storage in pits and trenches, no, this is also an oldish practice done by the farmer, where trenches of 1 meter to 1.5 meter is dug in the elevated portion of the field, and it is covered with the bottom portion is covered with straw or any kind of biological material. Then the crop, mainly the root crop is put, and then again over the crop, then again that straw is put, and the top layer is again put by that 15 to 20 centimeters of soil cover. So this is another kind of traditional techniques practiced by the farming community, especially the poor and marginal holder farmer. And then use of sand and coir, we are also aware of these techniques to especially to store the root crops. And then guards, no, you see it is also a common picture in rural areas that small consumable quantities is stored in the guards, basically, which is basically the stored skin of cucurbitaceae crop, you know. So it's basically for domestic consumption purpose, this kind of storage techniques are used by the rural people. Then palmyra leaf bin, and then straw bin, and this is bamboo bin. These things are also quite prevalent across rural agrarian economy. The clamp is another structure followed by the farming community, you know, where the heap of crop like root crop, basically potato, cassava, this kind of crop, they put on the field in terms of heap with a width of around 1 to 1.5 meter width and a height of around 1/3 of the width, and then covered by straw, and so that the rainwater doesn't spoil the crop and it falls down. No? So this kind of practice also are practiced by the farmer. Then cellars are basically the underground or partially underground structure, where in this structure also farmers store their agricultural commodities, grains or root crops. Then barns, basically these are the farm structure where farm machinery or farm commodities are stored by the farmers. Earthen pot, we are very much familiar with earthen pot piles. Then mud house. So mud house, basically the structure of bamboo plastered with mud or plastered with mud plus straw. No? So this structure is also used for storing of large quantities, around 10 to 12 tons of food grains also can be stored in this type of structure. And then silo, no, silo we are very much familiar with this. Silo may be metal silo or mud silo. This kind of structures are followed by across rural communities in India and other developing countries. Then bamboo house, Nahu. So Nahu specifically I want to mention is a storage methods or structure practiced by farmers from Arunachal Pradesh, where basically it is a 3-story structure. The ground portion is kept for storing this wood, firewoods, and middle portion is kept vacant, and the upper portion is kept for storing the commodity, food grains or any kind of fruits and vegetables, these things. So these are found in Arunachal Pradesh. And then obe is basically found this is like prepared by bamboo splits, interwoven and giving in shape of cylindrical or other shape. It is basically found in Manipur, especially in the Senapati district. You know? And then use of botanicals, cow dungs, especially cow dungs are used for storing the this kind of seed crop, you know, seed. And medicinal plant use is also very much common. The pulverized medicinal that crops are mixed with the main stored material. So that acts as a repellent to the insect pest. So night ventilation structure. So here what is happening, the storage structure whatever we are creating, it is basically insulated, and fan is installed by thermostat techniques. No, so automatically turns off and turns on and turns off when the outside temperature is lower than the inside temperature. So fan is on, and when it becomes equal temperature, then fan automatically gets off. So this kind of techniques are very much used by the farming community. And then zero cool energy chamber, it is basically based on evaporative cooling temperature, where where we throw air by water pad, no, and by way of evaporation, it cools the surface temperature of the storage room, no. So this kind of traditional and conventional techniques are very much prevalent across India and other developing countries. And you see, other important aspects of this storage is of course packaging. You have to package your product quite nicely. Then I need not to speak this packaging because eminent speakers already spoke since morning. Packaging is way or technique and art of enclosing the product for further uses, distribution, sale, all those kind of things. Whereas packing is done basically for transportation and distribution purposes. So packaging is basically done for packaging is done basically for containment, for holding the product. Any commodity you cannot deliver loosely, it has to be contained in certain container or like that. Basically for that purpose we do packaging. Then convenience, how conveniently we can deliver the product easily, we can open, deliver or use, this kind of things we do packaging. Then information, basically information, so much of information we have to pin, okay, we have to put. So for that we have to, for information giving, we have to do packaging. Protection, of course, protection from microorganisms, then chemical spoilage, mechanical damage, we have to do packaging. Now the kind of packaging, natural packaging, as far as the topic of this conference is concerned, natural packaging are those packaging, as far as I understood, which are having less carbon footprint, can be made from available raw material sources and have negative impact on the environment. So if we discuss some of the natural packaging techniques or materials, these are corrugated and non-corrugated cardboard boxes. Of course it is discussed in the morning, wooden box, and then craft packaging, and then I am making it short because time is limited. Then fiber drum box, and then bamboo baskets, now just discussed, jute bag, and lip box, cloth bag, earthen pots, basically for packaging of dairy products. And then now just only 2 slides. Now we have discussed that what are the different storage techniques available across developing countries, especially in India. Then what kind of natural packaging techniques can be used? We have understood. Now after that, what kind of things we should use? What are the prospects and issues? You see, in India, modern storage infrastructures are very limited. It's mostly, as I told, dominated by the conventional storage structure, practiced by mostly the marginal and smallholder farmer, which are very much resource poor in nature, and they don't have the capacity to participate in the high-end value chain network. So in spite of being low cost, eco-friendly, what is happening? The conventional storage structure does not ensure the best quality, safety and longer shelf life. That we have to accept it. That is because why we are not getting the real benefits of export opportunity. So that predominant conventional storage structure has to be definitely improved by replacing by the modern storage infrastructure. The conventional storage techniques are basically used to store small quantities basically for domestic consumption and to serve the local immediate value chain network. It is not effective for supporting the high-end export value chain network. If we really want to wish to explore the export opportunity, then we must shift gradually towards the high-end storage, modern storage techniques like cold chain networks, like modified atmospheric packaging, refrigerated techniques, then controlled atmospheric packaging. These kind of techniques gradually we have to shift. But since we cannot make sudden shift, but as far as possible, we have to make our available conventional structure, we have to give some technical input so that this kind of structure also get scientifically improved. As far as the natural packaging material, it is of course having huge opportunity, because natural packaging is the way of life and way of future. We cannot deny the prospect that is giving the natural packaging. It is of course eco-friendly, biodegradable and having low carbon footprint, because we are now concerned about the carbon footprint. We want to limit the carbon footprint generation in each and every activity of our life, be it food processing, packaging, everything. So it is having low carbon footprint, improved brand image, zero toxic, allergy-free characteristics. But what is happening? This kind of natural packaging materials are only used for as a primary packaging material for fresh fruits and vegetables only. As far as the processed product is concerned, the natural packaging material we can use for only secondary packaging, not for primary packaging. We cannot, mostly we cannot use this kind of conventional or natural packaging material for primary packaging. So that what is indicate that we must do much more R&D activities so that the barrier properties, the stackability, the transportability, and even cost reduction can be done as far as the conventional storage packaging materials are concerned. No, as sir told that we always prefer the brand image, we always prefer the eco-friendly and low carbon footprint material, but it is higher costly, and because of that people always compare कि प्लास्टिक का कॉस्ट इतना कम है, हम लोग प्लास्टिक क्यों यूज नहीं करते, क्यों हम लोग हाई कॉस्ट हम लोग ये सब बेम्बू का व दूसरा मटेरियल क्यों यूज करते. So that we have to try to do mass scale production also, so that unit cost of production of this kind of conventional or natural packaging material gets reduced and become affordable to the people. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Das. It was indeed, very interesting that once you harvest the product, how to preserve it till it goes to either business to business, or it goes to, we call B2B or B2C, business to consumer. Of course, consumer, that business, it is a portion pack, or like, we call family pack. So that require both secondary as well as primary packing and all this. As Dr. Das says, that for primary packing, we need to have more research, whether, the leaf or bamboo layer, either single layer or multiple layer of same material, whether that can preserve. That is one. And secondly, these are, one is concept design. Another thing, to do it and create a specification so that anybody does, a non-technical person, they should get the same result. And anywhere in the world they do that, the similar SOA, like, scientific study. So inference should be, yes, it is happening the way we write that. So more research required in a multi-level, the Design Institute, IITs, and our packaging development lab, and your own testing houses, they should do more and more research on that. I know that you need some science and technology guide and all this, so we are there to help you on that. So excellent presentation, sir. It was very, very thoughtfulness. My next speaker, Professor Sangyukta Patra. She is Department of Bioscience and Bioengineering and head School of Agro and Rural Technology, IIT Guwahati, Government of India. And she is basically PhD from CFTRI Mysore, very famous institute. Researcher, agro waste utilization. This is also a very interesting subject. Enzyme and microbial technology, biosensors. Oh my God. So these are very interesting subjects, you should give full attention. Madam, up to you.
Good afternoon to all. First of all, I would like to thank Apeda and FIPS for giving me this platform to represent the School of Agro and Rural Technology, IIT Guwahati. The entire day had been a very worthy day, I should say. We had been hearing to speakers who have immense knowledge in their own domain. And of course, all of us are trying to converge to the topic of this particular conference, which is towards natural packaging materials. So going on the similar lines, I would be speaking on agricultural waste into value-added products, where briefly I will first of all try to take you through when we are talking of natural packaging, so from where do we get these materials from? So here we again look back to the nature where it is agriculture. So when we talk of agriculture, it is all about, the first thing which comes into your mind is a product. Say if it is rice, the product is rice. But what we do with the rest of the things of the plant? So there all comes into play what we call the agricultural waste, which in addition to the agro-processing wastes, gives us the basic materials which we would like to take forward. What is the current topic of this particular conference, that is the raw materials for the natural packaging. So as we are more into research, but we would definitely like to collaborate with all the industrial partners to come up with the products and take it into the market. So my travel through this talk will be more into knowing these natural materials so that we can actually design what we want. So India is the 7th largest and the 2nd most populous nation, of course, where 70% of the people thrive directly or indirectly in agriculture. And hence, we definitely have the raw material in a wide scale and always available, one or the other. And we need to take this opportunity for our particular use. So this particular graph just takes you through the trends of the crop residues which are generated in India. So here we see the huge potential or the availability of the raw materials, not just in bulk, but also in variety. So when I say in variety, so there we have heard about bamboo, we have heard about jute, we have heard about, we also, so there is rice we talked about, so the rice stalk we talked about, and many others. So not just we have the ready bulk, but also different varieties from which we can choose from. So going into some of the inner details. So when we talk about utilization of the agro wastes, there are two aspects. One is the nutritional aspect of the available material, that is agro waste, and the other is the technological aspect. So when we talk of the nutritional aspect, so what happens is first thing is what is there in these materials. The part which we call the nutritional aspect, and what it could be like. Today morning we heard that cellulose is one of the things which is present in bamboo. So that if we take it as a nutritional material, it can be converted into something we call biofuel. So that is a nutritional aspect. Then what could be the anti-nutritional aspect or the other ones? So the anti-nutritional aspect of bamboo, if we talk about, is probably lignin. So when we talk about biofuels. So this basically is the composition of the biomaterial or the bamboo. But as rightly very much pointed out by Mr. Salam, we need to understand what are we going to use it for, whether I need cellulose or lignin or the fiber in bamboo. So that is one of the examples I would like to quote because we have already heard about it. And if we talk about some other materials, like if you see here, caffeine, tannin, polyphenols, chlorogenic acids, so these are some of the anti-nutritional things which are present in coffee beans, because of which they actually lead to, if they are into just left unattended, they will give you environmental pollution. However, if they are used, they will give you materials which can be of immense use. So those are the nutritional and the anti-nutritional aspects of the agro wastes. And when we talk of the technological aspects, here comes the factors like the seasonal unavailability of the materials. So many of the materials, or if we see, they are not available throughout the year. So what we need to do is, we need to have a proper planning so that we have the continuity of the raw materials if we are going for a business plan using these. So these are some of the aspects which we need to take into account when we are talking of use of agro wastes for various purposes. Now, this is just, I just talked about, we can talk about agro wastes as agricultural residues, and also the food processing waste which take up the agricultural products to be processed further. So both these things actually contribute to what we call the agro waste, which can be utilized in various ways, and I'm just going to run through some of the applications based on the biomaterial composition of the materials. So the first of all, what we need to do is we need to understand what is there in the material. So as you see here, see some of the composition of the agro waste material. So sugarcane bagasse, if you see, it has a very high cellulose content. In fact, all the materials which are there in the first list, if you see here, sugarcane, rice, corn, sawdust, so all of them have a very high cellulose content, cellulose and hemicellulose, which gives the strength, if you are looking for a packaging material of high strength, this is what you can, you need to search for. However, it will have like other, what I call the anti-nutritional factors, like lignin is something which you may not want because that will give you a dark color. So you may not want that if you want a packaging material which looks, gives you a good finish with less colors. So similarly, if you talk of fruit industrial waste, fruit and vegetable industry waste, so there you will have different kinds of materials which can give you many antioxidant things from them if you ferment them. Lastly, going to the composition of various kind of oil cakes which are from the agricultural products like mustard and other things. So there we see that we have very high crude protein content. So these agro wastes can be utilized towards, of course, not packaging, but into various other valuable products, like we'll talk about tempeh and other things, which where people are also using these materials for various value-added products. And of course, one more thing from this is that the lipid content of these materials can also be used towards packaging. So these are some of the, so knowing the agro waste basically helps in deciding how we can utilize it. So these are the various aspects in which, or various directions in which we can go to utilize it. Now I'll just run across some of the examples of using these agro waste, and finally I'll stop with the theme of the topic, which is about packaging from natural materials. So if you talk about biofuels, bamboo is one of the things we have already heard. Then we can use it for, we can do, you can have biofuels from bagasse, we can have biofuels from even rice stalks, but we need to deal with the anti-nutritional factors of that. So this is, so biofuel is one of the examples which is picking up because of the, like it can act as a renewable source of energy. Now coming to the next most important thing, like how do these agro wastes can be converted into various value-added products as well as packaging materials if we can work on them. And here the workers which do it for us are the microbes. So we have heard in the morning that Mr. Rajesh Singh, he already quoted about microbes. So microbes are definitely present everywhere, and they are always, most of the time, they are helpers to us. And it is only 1% of the total microbes on the earth which are harmful to us. So it is up to us how we know them and how we make use of them. So one of the things which, one of the ways by which we can make use of microbes in this particular field which we are talking about is by solid state fermentation, the technical term which we use for it. And that is because these agro wastes are solid in nature. We can make them into finer particles, and they can be used and they can be acted upon by these microbes in various ways to give us the products which we are looking for. So some of the solid state fermentation products can be from antioxidants to various types of antibiotics which can be produced on these wastes using microbes, and of course to various type of fermented products like we see here, tempeh and others. And then, so, and all these agro waste products can also be used by solid state as well as submerged fermentation, what we call, and one of the most, what we call, we talk about green, having everything as a green product, and that is by the help of use of enzymes. So these enzymes can be produced by using these agro waste materials, both by solid state as well as submerged fermentation, wherein all these agro wastes can be used as the substrates for these particular type of fermentation methods, and hence we get our products as enzymes which can be used for multiple uses, whatever we want. Again, one of the most important things which is in the direction of solid state fermentation is the applications of these agro wastes for the production of various types of mushrooms, whether it is edible or medicinal mushrooms. So they can be utilized to give us some value-added products, and of course the spent mushroom waste can also be used for many other things. Now coming to something called single cell protein production by using these materials in the form of submerged fermentation, and also the production of poly-3-hydroxybutyric acid, which is actually can be taken up as a material, as a natural material for packaging. So we'll talk about the details of that. Then another important thing which can be produced by these agro wastes is agro waste usage is for the production of biosurfactants by the use of various by the use of microorganisms like the Pseudomonas aeruginosa, and many other strains are actually available. Besides that, the usage in food like the xanthan gum by the microorganisms, again by solid state fermentation. So these are the wide spectrum of usage of agro wastes for various product formation. Now, from the general usage of agro wastes as natural materials for various value-added products, I'll just take a stop over to see how these agro wastes can be used as natural packaging materials. So to understand that, let's try to get into the biomaterial aspect of this. So if we treat these agro waste as a biomass, we can actually segregate them into 3 different classes, I will say. So here, one of the classes, that is the polysaccharides, all the types of polysaccharides which are present in these agro wastes. Like if I take the examples of starches, so where do you find starch in the agro waste? Which is a polysaccharide. So it will be in wheat, potatoes and maize waste. So you will find starch in them. So if you talk about the other ones like lignocellulosic products, which will give you the strength of the material. If we are talking of starches, they will give you the like what we call the ductility of the material and the malleability of the material, or you can spread it into thin sheets. So the polysaccharides will give you that. However, if you are talking of the lignocellulosic materials, will give you the strength like the cellulose and hemicellulose. So they will give you the strength for the packaging material if you are looking for. And then there are materials like pectin, chitosan, chitin gums. So these are the ones which also give you the strength to your packaging material if you are looking for. The next thing is proteins. So the proteins in the material, like if some of the examples of we can look for is soya, gluten. So they can be actually also fermented and we can get products which can be used as packaging materials. And finally, if you go to the class of lipids, we have the cutins, which actually can be used to coat most of the packaging, most of the packaged things, and they give us what we call the barrier to the water most of the times, or rather they render hydrophobicity to the material. So here I just try to take you through what could be the different biomaterials present in any particular natural material, which will help you choose the material if you know your goal. What do you want to pack? And how far do you want to take? Do you want to take it to the local market or somewhere else? So depending on all these things, this can help you choose your biomaterial you can choose your natural material for packaging. So these are some specific examples of what we already just talked about in the last slide, like biopolymers. You can have polylactides, polylactic acids, or you can have polyhydroxide, you can have PHAs and PHBs. So these are some of the specific examples of these particular classes. Now, coming to the recent, advances, or they accept there had been products of biopolymers and bioplastics. Like we see here that bioplastics have been made from different sources like plant oil, cellulose, corn, starch, and why it is made, I just explained that because of the various properties of these biomaterials which are embedded in them. Now coming to starch, so these are the sources which tell you from where they come. So if it is starch, it is mostly the rice-based materials. If it is pectin, fruits, the peels of most of the fruits have lots of pectin, and they can be, and these pectins have various other properties of, like, they are not, they will have more shelf life because they take time to be biodegradable. They are biocompatible, non-toxicity. These are some of the things. Besides, one very important thing which you are choosing pectin as one of the components of your packaging material is that they have, you know, the pectin films act as a good oxygen barrier. So they allow the oxygen to pass through, besides being hard and having properties of adhesiveness. So these are some of the specific properties of pectin, because of which you may would like to take pectin as one of the composite materials in your packaging. Plant-based proteins can also be taken up for your packaging. Besides cellulose, we already talked about cellulose. Nanocrystals are also being formed, which you can use as a composite material, if not alone, depending on your goal, what you want to do. Now, one of the most interesting things which have come up in last 5 to 10 years is about plant cutin based materials, which is again a hybrid material, wherein motivation was again nature. So here lotus leaves were taken into, lotus leaves and tomatoes were actually taken as the motivations for preparing packaging material. So herein hydrophobicity of the material was taken into account. So if you say plant, so basically these are plant cutins, which is the main element in the skin fraction of tomato and many other plants and many other plant products as well as leaves. So cutin extracted from tomato waste, it is basically non-toxic, it is compostable, and of course waterproof or hydrophobic in nature. So that is why it was, you know, a chosen material, wherein this so this was it was tried to make into a packaging material where the final product was in the form of straw, cups and dissolvable bags and plastic replacement materials, because of the hydrophobic nature of these materials which was developed. Now these are some of the global players who are into natural packaging, the Glopac Inc., the NAFIC Environmental Research. So these are some of the global industries which are the major players in natural packaging. These are some of the other companies which are into natural packaging. Now coming back, so the last stop of this particular talk is, thank you. So the last stop of this particular talk is about how the School of Agro and Rural Technology at IIT Guwahati is contributing towards natural research. So I'll just give you three examples on which, three specific examples on which SART has been working on. One has been towards the packaging of black rice. So here, the GI tagged black rice. So black rice is generally susceptible to fungal growth. So this was, the goal was to stop black rice from having any kind of fungal growth, and also and it has very high percentage of bran and the color anthocyanin, which needs to be protected along with the flavor, so that it is not lost during storage. So these were the goals. So having kept these goals in mind, Dr. Sindhar Singh at SRT works on this, and here a brief but optimal drying was taken into account, followed by use of wax coated jute bags. So today we heard about jute, and then it was wax coated using some of the hydrophobic materials from the natural sources. So that was finally, so that was the material developed was used for the storage of this black rice, and we are still on our journey to on this particular research. Now the next thing which we have been working on is Kaji Nemu, which is again another GI product. So here the fruit coating properties of wax extracts of taro, one of the leaf which gives the hydrophobicity, because the goal when we try to preserve Kaji Nemu is all about preserving the water content, the aroma of the material. So those are the major goals. So the wax coating helps it in not losing the aroma as well as the water content of the material. So these are two of the things which we have been doing actively towards natural packaging at SART IIT Guwahati. So finally, before before I say goodbye, I would just like to say one thing. SART IIT Guwahati has come up with an innovative way of interacting with with any kind of any industry or any person who wants a technological intervention in terms of any agro and rural technological issues. So we have a project called ACAR, which is about advanced knowledge dissemination in the agro and rural sector. So you can go to the portal and you can just register your problem. So we are trying to give you a platform where we can directly talk to you about the problem. So once you register the problem, we will contact you, and then what we want is, we want the problem to come from your end, so that the problem comes from the field, we solve it at the lab, and you again take the solution back to the field, because that makes our life easier. We would like to work on defined problems. So with that, I would invite you, if any one of you have any query, you may please, I will be happy to take it right now, or you can get in touch to us through ACAR. Thank you for your patience hearing.
Thank you, Dr. Patra. We have seen that, amazing work IIT Guwahati has done on bioscience and biotechnology. You have seen that starch-based, cellulose-based, protein-based, this can be converted into film, and already, the PLA-based structures are there. Now, there is a lot of shortcomings are there. You cannot use directly for a longer shelf life. You have a benchmark with a fossil fuel-based polymer and different, barrier structures. But then there are always, research, and there kind of solutions are there. We'll have to do research and apply, and then create, as I said, technical data sheet, experimental. Like, the PVOH, polyvinyl alcohol, has an excellent oxygen barrier. So how to create that, how to coat, 2 micron, and you get a barrier. Think about, amazing world we have here. So India, believe me, all our technical institution, premier institute, they have all the opportunity, but industry and, institution partnership has to be there. So it will not, it will come naturally. What multinational, they have done many, many years, like Exxon, Dow, chemicals. They have huge research, entire country together, their budget, R&D budget like that. So we'll have to evolve and, all these things, and apply and do experiment, create data, do patenting. Intellectual property is very important. Otherwise somebody will hijack. Because I myself have so many patents, and these are all innovation patent. China, they do utility patent. As soon as your patent goes, okay, it has a shelf life only 3 or 4 years, but as soon as I go for that, they say already we have that. So they are like that. So anything you do, please do intellectual property. Thank you very much for patience hearing. What is the next?
Thank you so much, sir. So that was an amazing session and an insight on how natural packaging materials about innovation and industry application function. Can we have a huge round of applause, please? I would now like to invite the chairman of Technical Session 2, Mr. M.K. Banerjee, to please come ahead and felicitate all our speakers. We would like to first felicitate Mr. Sukumar Haubam, Designer and Coordinator, Bamboo Forum of India. Can we have a round of applause, please? We would now like to felicitate Dr. Gautam Das, Assistant Professor and Officer in Charge, NIFTEM Guwahati, Ministry of Food Processing Industries for the Government of India. And now we would like to felicitate Professor Sanjukta Patra, Department of Biosciences and Bioengineering, and Head of the School of Agro and Rural Technology, IIT Guwahati, for the Government of India. I would now like to invite Mr. Subhash Bhattacharjee to please felicitate our chairman, Mr. M.K. Banerjee. Can we please have a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we take the session ahead and move into the technical session number 3. I know we were supposed to do a tea break, but we postponed that to post-session. Yes? So taking it ahead, I would now like to invite on stage the technical session 3 chairman, Dr. Sukamal Deb, who is the CEO, KVIC, Ministry of MSME for the Government of India. Can we please have a huge round of applause? Dr. Sukamal Deb. I would now like to invite all the speakers of the technical session number 3, Mr. Manoj Das, Managing Director, Neramac, Ministry of Donor, Government of India. Okay. Can I now invite Mr. Nitin Singh, Financial Services Specialist, ARIAS Society, Assam Agribusiness and Rural Transformation Projects, APART, Guwahati. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please have a huge round of applause and we move into our technical session number 3. Our technical session number 3 is about natural packaging materials, its export market opportunities. Can I now request Dr. Sukamal Deb to please take over and commence the technical session number 3? Thank you.
Good afternoon, esteemed participants, learned organizer from Apeda, Ministry of Industry and Commerce, Government of India. To start with, I would like to share you a very, very good news from Northeast region to all of you. The Ministry of MSME, Government of India has been celebrating week-long MSME week, started from 27th of this month. Today is 30th. Today, Honorable Prime Minister of India has felicitated successful entrepreneur from the entire nation. And I would like to share you all my entrepreneur who has been groomed by the KVIC has bagged 3 top awards alone. She is from Bongaigaon, Assam, Miss Almana Nessa. She has secured the 2nd highest award on MSME manufacturing entrepreneurship. 2nd, she has got the best award as a woman entrepreneur. And 3rd, she secured best award as an entrepreneur from Northeast region. This lady, she makes pickles and jam, jelly, all types of things. Wonderfully, I have seen, it's very, very amazing. Whenever she gives or sells something, I don't know, nobody has brought her in a conference like this, but still, mostly she uses biodegradable items to do the packaging and making the gift. This is the reality. This is something we all are looking forward. And if this happens, this conference or the message we want to spread across through this, such conferences remains meaningful in my opinion. Around 2 months back, I think, or 1.5 months back, Dr. Shaha from Mumbai, she called me, and definitely perhaps at the reference of respected and learned Subhash Bhattacharjee ji, he informed me about this conference, and I had been very, very excited to see that, yes, such a beautiful subject, such a time-appropriate subject, a conference, that to national level conference, the venue has been selected as Guwahati, Assam, my own city. I congratulate the organizer from core of my heart for choosing Northeast India to reach out to us and spread the messages of the environment-friendly materials for packaging. I'm not much prepared. We have been rushing through meeting after meeting. Today there was a big team of the honorable MPs came, and there was a, Ministry of Finance Standing Committee from the Parliament. In the morning it was in Taj Vivanta, and I was thinking that after that I will be joining straight away in Taj Vivanta, because I was notified that the venue of the meeting is Taj Vivanta. And incidentally, I have invited 3-4 my friends, and I told all of them that Taj Vivanta is the place. Now they are searching around where to go, where to get the room for the meeting. So it was a puzzle, of course not out of intention, maybe somebody has missed it. Anyway, with this, let me start. I will not able to speak much about this topic. I am not the subject expert, but still I would like to share you a few sentences, few lines from my core of my heart. I feel that this conference organized by Apeda is a time-appropriate initiative. The world is quickly moving away from plastic packaging and looking for more sustainable materials. Biodegradable packaging is made from materials that can break down easily in the environment. Plastic is a material made from fossil fuels. It is not biodegradable. It releases toxic chemicals into the environment, contaminate water supplies, and harm wildlife. We need to increase awareness with custom eyelash packaging and introspect what cost the world is bearing because of this cheap packaging. As the economics are prospering, as consumerism is prospering, we need more packaging material, need to re-strategize waste management. There are factors to be considered in choosing packaging materials, like its environmental impact, cost efficiency, material safety, recyclability, and more. There are needs to promote natural agricultural products based on traditional and native agriculture to ensure nutrition, health, sustainability, global warming, etc. So Apeda, in association with Foundation for Innovative Packaging and Sustainability, ventured upon this event with objective to promote natural packaging and to sensitize the entrepreneurs of MER dealing with natural packaging for export market. In developing and emerging markets like Brazil, India, South Africa, governments often struggle to provide public services for managing waste. As a result, massive informal economy has emerged. Around the world, more than 15 million people work as waste pickers, including 1 million in India in urban areas alone. Waste pickers contribute significantly to public health and sustainability, but in return, they earn a few dollars a day. They are excluded from the society, they are exploited, and they are neglected. India accumulated 62 million tons of waste in 2016, equal to the waste produced by all sub-Saharan Africa, of which 5.6 million tons was plastic. Population of India is 1.3 billion, we know. Rising incomes and urbanization lead to increased consumption of packaging, making management of solid waste serious problem. Only 31% of the total generated waste is recycled. To make us aware of our environmental duty, efforts to be made to reduce pollution and make India a more environment-friendly nation. India's current carbon dioxide emission 2021 are 2.88 gigaton. We need to tackle waste management and thereby promote the idea of zero waste and ensure the growth of local environment. Efficiently managing, collecting, and recycling the waste is of paramount importance. Issues such as massive carbon emission, improper waste management, etc. are clearly visible in the society today. The dictum is to properly and efficiently manage all solid waste, reduce the carbon footprint. We need to promote environmental welfare. I would like to stress upon this word that we need to promote environmental welfare. Equally, we need to understand the difference between traditional linear economic and the circular economy. A little bit disturbance was there. We need to promote environmental welfare. Equally, we need to understand the difference between the traditional linear economy and the circular economy. Learn how resources find new life in the circular economy through reuse, repair, recycling, remanufacturing, and returning to the biosphere. We need to appropriate the ecosystem services, how natural capital helps us incorporate the value of nature in decision making, contribute to our moral imagination to ensure our future solutions. It is well presumed that this conference will pioneer on establishing development-oriented ripple effect and will contribute to the SDG goals by coming up with suitable solution to combat it, bringing space for environmental sustainability that will help society to make a step forward towards making a greater impact in society and reap long-term benefits. But it needs planning, implementation, and evaluation. According to the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, only 14% of the plastic packaging makes its way to the recycling plants. About 1/3 is discarded in fragile ecosystem and 40% ends up in landfills. If these trends continue, there would be more plastic than fish in the ocean by 2050. Plastic has been found nearly 700 species, including whales, seabirds, and coral. Thousands of marine animals die every year from being choked or poisoned, while others are entangled in bags and plastic nets. Northeast region comprises of 8 beautiful states with area 2,62,180 square kilometer, characterized by her fragility, marginality, inaccessibility, cultural heterogeneity, authenticity, and rich biodiversity. The prospect of the region include mega biodiversity, hotspot areas, and abundant natural resources. We need to deal with her, we need to deal with Northeast region more sensitively. This is a small write-up I built up for this conference. As said, I have been working in the Ministry of MSME, Khadi and Village Industries Commission, Government of India, working as the zonal head for the KVIC for last 4 years. We have been promoting village industries, rural industries, and many other activities. So I found that the subject chosen is very appropriate and it is in line with the Khadi and Village Industries Commission, which also keeps a lot of respects to the sustainable development goal. I believe that the findings of this conference will be shared with the KVIC, Government of India, Ministry of MSME, so that the good findings, definitely all the findings will be good, and for the betterment of the poor artisans of this region will be shared with us so that we can really act upon this recommendation to implement them to the ground realities to the possible extent. Once again, I am grateful to the audience for giving me such a chance to speak from my heart, and you gave me a novel hearing. I also thankful my gratitude to the organizer for choosing KBIC and providing some space to share you our ideas. Thank you very much. So as see from the technical session details, we find that there will be presentation 2 papers. Each paper will be granted 20 minutes time, I think. The first topic is natural agro products of Northeast region for packaging, its export market opportunities. This presentation will be made by learned Mr. Manoj Das. He is the Managing Director of Niramek, Ministry of Dinner, Government of India. Next to him, there will be another session in advance, I am telling, market opportunities of natural packaging system, and that will be presented by respected Mr. Nitin Singh, Financial Services Specialist, ARIAS Society, Assam Agri-Business and Rural Transformation Project, Government of Assam, Guwahati. So these are the 2 sessions we will take forward. May I kindly request Mr. Manoj Das to come forward and to make his presentation. Thank you.
Very good afternoon, Chairman of the session, my co-panelist, and August gathering here. It's really privilege to be one of the last speakers because you are all saturated with ideas of the whole day's proceedings. I'm Manoj Das and already have been introduced. So my topic was export opportunities of natural and organic agro products by using natural packaging materials from Northeast. So here I'd like to mention that Northeast region has been a region of, we used to call it organic by default because not much of inorganic material is used like fertilizer, pesticide, fungicide, used for in agriculture, except for I think tea gardens. We have a huge 800, approximately 800 of tea gardens, and they use a lot of chemicals. And that has, over the years, has gone down to the ground level, and even it has contaminated groundwater, and is affecting the tea garden laborers in the tea industry areas. And so much so that in many areas, like in my area in Dhamaji and Lakhimpur district, where there is a tea garden, even our muga rearing is being affected because it's a very sensitive silkworm, and the golden silk, you all know, only grown in Assam. And therefore, the bouquet of naturally grown and organic products from Northeast is huge, and we have one mission recently launched called Mission Organic Value Chain Development for Northeastern Region, MOVCD-NER. Under that, there are 4 components. The component A is basically certification, then supply of inputs, and up to production process. And number 2 is component B, that is subsidizing production efforts by FPOs and private entrepreneurs, value addition of basically of the producers. And there it is, I am also working in NetFee, and there I am heading this division, component B. We give up to 75% subsidy for FPOs and 50% to private entrepreneurs. So anybody interested in that, they can approach through straight nodal agency and come to us. Then component C is the marketing. Then D is other, like using platforms, brand building and other things. And we all know that Sikkim has declared itself as organic state, and there are quite a few other states that can also do same. Like it is very easy to declare like state like Mizoram as organic state, because already it is not using much of those inorganic material, and it will be very easy to also administer. Like Sikkim, there is only one highway. Even Mizoram, I was there day before yesterday, only one road going to leading to Aizawl. And we actually also suffer because of it. We were stuck by 4 hours due to, not landslide, due to lack of petrol from Assam, supply from Assam, and there was a huge 4-kilometer long queue for filling up their tanks. Then the second component is naturally grown. Organic has to be certified. Although we call organic by default, organic, we keep talking, but unless it is certified, it is not, we cannot claim it to be organic, and hence there is a price, which is about 10 times as per thumb rule of the one that we get on the streets or from vegetable vendors. Then second is naturally grown, where we are using our traditional practices, and we use manure like vermicompost or compost, and its productivity is little less because it's because of the attack by insects and other things. The production tends to be about 40% to 30 to 40% of that inorganically cultivated products. So these two has huge demand, and just before the pandemic, 2 years back, there was I was interacting with a team of Japanese, and they have one group. They have about 20,000 high net worth individual customers whom they supply naturally grown and organic fruits and vegetables, and they were trying to test our soil quality, and found that it is really very good for producing naturally grown fruits and vegetables. And hence they would have taken from here, and price would have been three times more than that of the ordinary ones. So these two have huge export opportunities because they will be high value products. And for that actually we will have to see how we can effect very quickly, and for that we have now different subsidy schemes. Like airlines, that the region Kishi Uran, then Kisan Rail also, but the Kisan Rail scheme is there, but then I think there is no refer, bogie. So those has to be looked into. Now maybe sometime later we can also use the waterways, which will be very cheap through Bangladesh, and we should have refrigerated maybe boats or barges. Then now here my focus was how to use nacelle packaging material. And in Northeast we have been using nacelle material for packaging, like bamboo baskets of different sizes. Say I remember my grandfather used to store the seed in a something like cocoon shaped bamboo, I won't say basket, but container. Yes. And he used to lay with hay, then seeds were kept there. And when he has to germinate it, they will dip in our pond for about 2-3 days. And because of the humidity inside, it is to germinate. And that particular container, I am trying to now fill with like exotic fruits and vegetables from Northeast. And we have one stall in airport. So there I am trying. Like somebody going, like I also in Delhi. So my wife orders to take Dhekia, Kajinemu, Thekera, Posola sometimes, maybe Kordoi, Jalfai. These are 7-8 items in the list. So if you have a basket of that, and just keep it as a hamper, somebody can take it. And that is one very viable kind of material. Then other, we have been using banana leaves, and another leaf called kopat, that's a little longer. And banana, we know, recently I got one banana leaf cutter designed, and that one we can actually also use as a material for packaging. It has been used for a long time for packaging, because it has also other property like antioxidant. It has, the name exactly I forgot, but the same antioxidant that we have in anthocyanin that we get in green tea. So it's in our good old kolpat, banana leaf, plantain leaf, what you call, and that. But the only thing is that these are short-lived, and we can use for, I think, green vegetables, and it also enhances the life. So we have to see, packaging, when you talk about packaging materials, how we go about it. And another candidate that I'll be going in detail. And third product that we have been talking about is GI products. Morning also somebody mentioned, at Naramek, we have already got 13 registered GI products, and 7 more we have applied, and we are supposed to be doing that by 15 August this year. I don't know whether it is possible or not, but already process has begun. So 20 GIs we are supposed to register, and PM has given us the target. Now, yeah, I'll handle it. Pardon? No, just start it. I got 20 minutes. So Northeast India, I think we've been talking about it, and so this region has the highest biodiversity density found anywhere in the world, and we have biodiversity in the on land, in the hills, also in the water bodies, and that hasn't been really mapped in water bodies. That needs to be done, but we are losing a lot of water bodies to development around in and around Guwahati. We see also all the small cities everywhere along the highway, wherever a road is developed, we cut down millions of trees. In last 4-5 years, we lost more than 3-4 million trees along the highways, and those very, very old trees, more than 200 years, some places. And we all know that it's about 7.7% of India's total geographical area, and supporting 50% of the biodiversity in the country. And we have one of the largest pool of bamboo resources in the country. Bamboo is one of the biggest resources which is not tapped. Then these are GI products that, just a second. How can I go back? Page up, yeah. Page up. One more. Oh, this. So these are some of the GI products from Northeast. Manipur Chakhao, which is actually black rice. Manipur again Kachai lemon, then there's Tamenglong orange, Mizo chili, also called Baradai chili. Then Assam Kaji Lemu, Kaji Nemu we call it, it's like Kaji lemon. Then Johar rice, tasteful lychee. This tasteful lychee is very interesting. This was the original breed was from Muzaffarpur I think, Bihar. So once it landed in Assam, because of fertile soil, the seed becomes smaller and flesh become more. Now it's about gram data kiman hobo? About 100 grams. One lychee ke about 100 gram. 25 gram. So we 1 kilo 80-20 ratio. We don't get to eat it actually. This one only we exported about 650 kilos to London. I was also part of it. But yeah. Then Assam we have this Buka Chawul, then Orthodox tea, then Karbi Anglong ginger, Donbok orange, Naga tree tomato, Naga mircha, Naga sweet cucumber. This we got only last year, latest one. Then Queen pineapple, Khasi mandarin, Meghalaya. Then Memong narang. Then Sikkim large cardamom, Dalet chili. It's called Dalet chili Khurshani. We got I think 2 years back. And there was a lot of hue and cry. We call it Sikkim Dalet Khurshani. So people from Darjeeling, they started objecting. They said, this happens in our place also. How can Sikkim claim it? So there was a hue and cry. I was about to lose my job. So finally, we somehow managed. But it is very emotional, you know. Some of these are very emotional issues. Then Miju, ginger, especially from northeast origin like black pepper, like okay. So export of any agri-horti produce. So there is a lot of documentation, all that. I need to mention that you can have a copy of this. So we keep talking about हम export करेंगे. A lot of people come to me, young entrepreneurs. They say, "Sir, export business है तो कोई मिली भविष्य." For your benefit, we are interested in export business. I said, export business, okay, fine. Firstly, have you sold in your locality? No, he said, no, sir, I have to start export and make a lot of money. And the kind of these things. Last year, we exported 50 tons of maize to Bangladesh. And the kind of pain we had to go through, it was really too much. Then there is Apeda, like there was a phytosanitary certification, I think. So there was a Government of India office here. So this fellow says, "Arey, yahan se to kuch hota hi nahi, tum kya kar rahe ho ye sab?" And he was not cooperating, and 3-4 days lost because of his non-cooperation. Finally, we have to get somebody to call him up. So this export, we can talk about it, but then it's not easy. There has to be a whole system of logistics from route to canopy. Then only I think everybody has to be, well oiled. We have seen in China how they do it, or any country you go. But Northeast has huge potential. We keep talking about potentials. I hope during my lifetime it will be realized. We have 98% international border, and it's all closed. It is all suspicious borders. We don't trust our neighbors, and otherwise it would have been such vibrant areas of activity, places of trade, commerce, entertainment, people's movement, whatnot, as we see in other countries. So this list I have just given here, but later on if you want you can keep. So now we are talking about this packaging. That is one of the part of the product, and where packaging good, people come and pick it up. So this is also not a good thing. We call it जो दिखता वो बिकता है. तो ये दिखाने के लिए हमें इतना पैकेजिंग करना पड़ता है, and that's it's not healthy for, I think, human civilization to put so much emphasis. And maybe someday we'll have to think of slowly moving away from over packaging. Sometimes you see the product is so small, but so much is wrapped around story build and this, that. And when we throw the things, even if you buy a shirt these days, I'm not talking about agri products. How many, there is some plastic here, 4-5 clips. You'll find somewhere one pin tucked in somewhere. Then there is one paper board inside with a butter paper. Then another one here, and also one tag with a, thread. So how much additional costing you have done that? I mean, is it necessary? There's so much. I think in the medicine sector, government is going to introduce generic medicines. They were only branding, packaging are discarded. Same way, someday we'll have to think about it. Although I am now talking from the other side, here we are talking about exporting produces within using natural material. And how much of plastic is produced every day that we have been talking about. But then should we use more plastic? So what is the advantage of using sustainable and natural packaging options? Okay, we cannot do a plastic so soon. We also cannot have natural material in abundant quantities. Plastic has revolutionized our human civilization. Also, it must have helped to save a lot of trees, lot many trees, by replacing wood in many areas. But whether it will be sustainable to discard plastic and use natural packaging materials. We really cannot go whole hog in this and maybe a portion. So we have containers now made from hay, mushroom also, then bamboo, then water weed, agricultural waste, coconut fiber, then in Assam we call it, actually it's a sheet that covers the seed of the betel nut or areca nut. In Assamese it is called tamul pat, dhokua. So dhokua is a very strong material and we are now using it for disposable plates. Then we have spoons also made out of it. Just use once and throw it. But it's such a lovely material, you know. I feel sometimes criminal just to use and throw it. Maybe we can use it for some other purpose. It can be used as, I think, roofing material. Make small tiles and nail it in series, and after use once, then. So we have to always find a secondary use for natural material. I have developed one tray I forgot to show here, also being here today. It's like a tray, but when you put inside, it can be used to pack wine bottles. And once you use it and you just open it up, it becomes a tray for the use. So that kind of multi-user options we can have from natural material. Then bamboo baskets, of course, it can be used. In plastic, we do not have secondary use, or normally we don't like to do it. But in natural material, it will be definitely useful. So we have given some like bamboo packaging options, bamboo baskets, bamboo trunks. We can have these bamboo pipes actually. Then areca leaves, then banana leaves, other large size locally available leaves as well. Then dry gourd cells, there's bottle gourd that you can take out the seed, and I have seen in Mizoram, therefore, so they use it for serving, I think, curry and all other things. Also for packaging. Then jute is a well accepted natural packaging material. It has been doing wonderful service for, I think, 200 years since we had all our jute mills. Then water hygiene is coming up in Assam now. That was introduced by my corporation, Netfi, some time back, and now we have more than 30,000 weavers or artisans trained in that water hygiene craft. Assam Rural Livelihood Mission has also supported us with 2 programs. I think now 3rd program we're going to introduce. Then compostable cloth made of bamboo fiber. This is not available here in India. Fiber is available imported, but we can go for a very big bamboo fiber production center, which maybe like we close down 3 to 4 paper mills. So I think there we can produce bamboo fiber, but they will need more investment, new investment. But that's I think a good option for the future. Then hay-made curtains, coconut shell containers, there are many. So these are some of the pictures I have collected from different sources. This is used by our people here. Then these are all recyclable or reusable for other purposes. These are woven. This is a banana leaf. That is from, I think, talpatta or something. That's the other one is the talpatta. They're betel nut seeds, and these are all banana and other leaves here. But some of these can be definitely used for. These are all these can be used for exporting produces. But this has to have a secondary content again on top. So these are shells. These are coconut shells. These are again bamboo. That's coconut shell. These are little modified gunny bags. Gunny. So these are the NER process and notion of opportunity, resources, and unexplored potential when it comes to agriculture. The region possesses several competitive advantages like a fertile soil, favorable climatic conditions, rich biodiversity, forest wealth, educated manpower, and a geographically strategic location for Southeast Asian countries and China, also Pacific Rim, also Bangladesh, this side. So we believe that someday our borders will be vibrant, then this natural packaging materials will be also viable. So with these words, I thank you for inviting me and wish the program a success. Thank you.
So the next paper is from Mr. Nitin Singh, Financial Services Specialist, ARIAS Society, Assam Agribusiness Rural Transformation Project. Thank you, Manoj Dasji, for making this presentation. We may have a discussion at a later part. Please join.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, good evening everyone. This is Nitin, Financial Services Specialist working with Assam Agribusiness Rural Transformation Project. I see that the, hall has leaned towards the other end. There's more, young, dynamic students over there. And absolutely. Yeah. No.
Government ka. Lot of expenditures are incurred, and these are the taxpayers' money. We are also a part of paying for this. So as a youth, for the future of the next generation, we need to be very, very serious when you got the opportunity to attend a conference. We should able to see that you have full eagerness to understand. This type of casual type of things will not take India anywhere or Northeast anywhere. Please don't mind, I have been watching.
No, I must appreciate students attending this event till late evening. I mean, well appreciated. So I hope that, few of you would emerge as ecopreneurs and take, packaging as a career. I firmly believe that there's a lot of scope for packaging industry and someone from Northeast to take up, packaging as a career and as an, entrepreneurial venture. So with this, I would start my presentation. So I use the word ecopreneur. So basically, there's a new breed of entrepreneur, who's working towards eco-friendly solutions. A lot of time, we believe that these are only, these are all CSR activity, social responsibility. But now there's a, companies looking these opportunities as a business case, wherein, there's a new demand emerging from the consumer side, and to cater this demand, there's a need for the industry to come up, to flourish and sustain. So that's how the demand and supply can be balanced. So the topic given to me is the market potential for sustainable packaging material. My previous speaker, Sri Manoj Kumar sir, talked about the natural packaging material available in Northeast. I would mostly talk about how is the industry scenario here with a focus on sustainable packaging industry, packaging material industry. What a growth accelerator, what are the drivers that actually pushes the sustainable packaging industry. Last but not the least, majority of my presentation I'll be talking about few successful case study startups, the companies which have already ventured into sustainable packaging, what they have done and how they have done. I'll talk about, I have collected few case studies and I'll share it with you. So I'll not go deeply into this. This is already there in my paper, which is souvenir, which is already passed on to all of with you. So basically, as we see that global packaging industry, a lot of demand is coming from Southeast Asian countries, and so basically they are the mostly the consumption is happening here, and ultimately country like India consuming a lot of plastics. So there's a definitely a lot of scope. Packaging industry as such is growing, say 8 to 9%, in last say 6 to 7 years. Every year value wise the company is growing about 2.5%. So this is how they're coming to the statistics. By 2025 it is assumed that the industry would grow by $1 trillion. So such a big industry of packaging industry is there. But what drives is like recently the recent phenomena is the emerging trend towards the sustainable industry, sustainable packaging industry. So what are the drivers basically? So if you see these are the growth accelerator. So basically there's a first of all it is all about when you talk about industry is fragmented. There's a lot of from the market side as well as from the industry side. There's a the target, there are segments available. So every segment, I often talk about an example of sustainability. How many of you have seen Myntra app? Myntra app. Right. So Myntra, if you go to Myntra app for buying of clothes, so there's a filter available in Myntra. What is that filter I'm talking about? Can you guess? Not really. see, this session is all about sustainability. So it is something to do with sustainability. So, so if you go to the options, you know, you can filter down brands, you can filter down, many things like, your preferences. But the thing which attracted me was, sorry, what is that? Earth. Mintra Earth. Yeah, that might be the name of the initiative. The filter is like, Better Cotton Initiative. Okay, that's a sustainability initiative, wherein, the entire supply chain, wherein the responsible sourcing of cotton happens through a very, there's a program designed for sourcing of these, and at the same time there's advocacy happening with the corporates, and few of these corporates actually sponsor these programs in order to ensure that the cotton is grown responsibly, the cotton is, there's a less use of pesticide, there's less child labor involved in it. So this all leads to, a production of cotton, which is a better cotton. So initiatives like this, and in fact, a lot of e-commerce companies, I'm talking about, Myntra, Flipkart, Amazon, every of these companies, have a sustainability agenda, and they have also moved towards, eco-friendly packaging. So, more of these companies like Swiggy, Zomato are often, shifted to sustainable packaging. So this is how, e-commerce business has recently ensured that, there's less carbon footprints, and also there's awareness among the consumers that, we should reduce the usage of plastics and move towards eco-friendly materials. So next thing is the technology for packaging, wherein, do we have solutions, to convert the materials which are available into a sustainable packaging. So that's also a challenge, because many of the examples that we talk about, that we see, are often not converted into the end products. So that's why we would need an appropriate technology solution. A lot of these technologies are already developed in European countries. Some universities have done good research. So the idea is to bring those technologies here in licensing, I would say, so that some of the entrepreneurs can really start venture around that. So these are few drivers. The market size of India e-commerce is USD 64 billion. Food delivery sector is expected to reach USD 21 billion by 2025. More e-commerce companies in India are transforming their packaging materials into sustainable alternatives. Pharmaceutical industry, which uses a lot of packaging material, is expected to grow by to 65 billion by 2024. And same is the case with FMCG. We expect that this industry to double by 2025. And all of these industries, directly depend on the packaging material. And hence, there's a lot of, so considering this, the packaging industry, packaging material demand is going to double by 2025. Yes, so these are few case studies that I have collected, wherein naturally available materials are converted into eco-friendly packaging, green packaging / sustainable packaging. So this is one of the examples. This is basically a fungi, and there are this initiative was undertaken by a company, Ecovative, based out of New York, and they had two co-founders which are still at college. So they started this, and basically they developed two products. One is microfoam and another one is microfoam and microboard. Yes. So these are the two products that they developed. So what they have done is like from the when we are growing mushroom, there's a fungi available. Now what they do is like they take this fungi to agriculture waste. So wherever agriculture waste is there, they through a bioprocess, they help this fungi feed on or process this agriculture waste, and that's how the material is created, and that material is called as microfoam. So basically, this organic waste or agriculture waste, which acts as a energy source, this basically glues the fiber, and and that's how we get this material. And next is microboard, wherein it is like waste generated out of wood industry. So basically, the same waste is used for converting into board. So this is one of the examples wherein fungi is used for converting into sustainable packaging material. This you all must have known about, but I want to tell you a case study wherein this company has not only survived but made money out of this. So we all consume know about the plastic drinking straws, but it is not reusable, and it actually and I really don't know why this plastic straw exists, because we have a lot of alternatives. We do have paper straws, but paper straws sometimes are not suited for dipping into the drinks, but bamboo straws are well suited. In fact, one of the beauty about this bamboo straws are, bamboo straws can be sanitized, can be boiled and steamed so that they can be reused again. So Bali bamboo was Bali Boo. It's a small company based out of Bali, and this company was started by two European entrepreneurs, Mr. Krader and Morodo, who arrived Bali, and then they decided they wanted to do something, and they got in touch with a Bali family, and they understood that they got to know that a lot of bamboo is being procured there. They took the technology from a university, and then they transferred their knowledge and imparted it in developing this bamboo boo. And they are adding more products in the portfolio, and what they are doing now is to do private labeling for hotels. So basically, these straws, what they do is like any big hotel chain interested in having a white label, a private label, they basically do the laser labeling of the logo or the hotel name in these straws. Turtle bags, this is an example which is close to us, because we often use jute bags. So I'll not talk much about this, but this turtle bag bagged national sustainability awards, and a lot of community got benefited through this initiative. This we all know about this Tamil plate and banana leaf plate, but the left side picture of this banana leaf can you imagine, like, can somebody tell me, like, where this initiative or where this banana plates would have been developed? Any guesses? Banana leaf. You see on the right hand side. Sorry? So somebody would say it might be in Tamil Nadu or Kerala, where these plates are used for, in various social functions. But this was done in Zurich, not Zurich, it's Munich. So basically, they started this, what they did is, like, they saw this banana leaf, how it is being used. And what they did is, like, they stitched a paper so as to give the strength to the banana leaf. And that's how they increased the strength and make it a viable option for packaging. And similarly, the areca palm, this is again, in India, a lot of small, micro, nano entrepreneurs have undertaken this, but a successful company based out of UK, has started and they are exporting it, and in fact, the name of the company is Little Cherry. So basically, Little Cherry is actually a venture which is set up in UK, but the roots are in India, wherein the raw material is being procured from India, and then the initial pre-processing happens here, and then the finished products are being marketed and exported to various other countries through Little Cherry from UK. This is an interesting innovation wherein casein, milk casein is converted into fiber. So this is also a place where milk milk surplus is there, and it is not used. So basically, that is converted into casein, and ultimately fiber. It is converted into fiber, so that the milk is used, and ultimately a sustainable fiber is also produced. So this is also one of the companies, a German entrepreneur, a former microbiology student, manufactured this casein fiber, and it's a complex process, but they have standardized this process, and the cow or the milk that they use is from Holstein and Friesian. So the particular, because every milk cow property may differ, and this process was standardized specifically for the milk from the Holstein Friesian cow. Next is Spinatex, a leather from pineapple leaves. So again, UK-based, a London-based company developed this. The company name is Ananas Anam. So basically, they using the fiber from the pineapple leaves, they are converted into a leather substitute, and the application for that is in the manufacturing of shoes, bag furnishings. And ultimately, because this is a super business case when it comes to increasing the livelihood for pineapple farmers, because after pineapple is harvested, there's nothing a farmer gets, but using the fibers they get extra source of revenue. So this is also classical case of a win-win proposition for both the entrepreneur industry as well as the communities. My previous speaker already mentioned about water hyacinth. So this is again, lot of innovations has been tried out in subtropical parts of South and North America. This is compostable coffee. So this particular initiative, they have named it as Trio Cup. So one piece paper cup, coffee cup with folding lid. This is what you can see here, and coffee is again one of the drinks, and a lot of coffee chains like CCD or Starbucks have come, and in fact a few of them have already started using compostable coffee cups, and so this particular single-use coffee cups represents one of the best examples of the throwaway culture. So basically, it's like coffee on the move. You just grab a coffee and then you throw it, right? The coffee cup. But ultimately, if you, it is biodegradable, then it reduces, a lot of carbon footprint as well. Seaweed. So this is an example wherein there are two companies, EvoWare and Skipping Rock Labs. These are the two companies which have converted seaweed into, food packaging material. So the image that you see is food sachets made out of seaweed, and this is edible. So EvoWare, produces a very thin film packaging for the dry goods, and again, usage of seaweed and initiatives for converting seaweeds into packaging material, or finding usage of the uses of seaweed is an emerging industry in India. Not many entrepreneurs have started this, but few have started converting seaweeds into biofertilizers, and also seaweeds as
Singhi, just can you brief, I think, your time.
Yeah. I think this is my last slide. Thank you. Yeah.
Any question from the audience, please?
Yeah, I have one. Some of your slide, it shows that nice shape, rectangular, right angle. Those are made out of machine, looks like, some machine. Okay. And those machines are locally made. We need not import or something. Or sometime maybe we'll have to import. Like a banana leaf, Those are very, like cube kind of thing. Then some of the, betel nut or thing, out of those bark, you have, nice tray. What we get from bagas, similar, but these are very natural. So those are machine compressed kind of thing. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
And not typically like a small industry here, but these are large plastic molds which they have created depending on the size of the plate they want.
Right.
And this is then, the cutter is there, and laser, they use laser for doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
This is another opportunity, maybe in the next program we'll talk about. As you say, 80,000 single-use plastic manufacturer, they are going to be out of business. Now, they have the machine and technology, and believe me, some of those industries, not 80,000, they have their qualified manpower, packaging engineers. So if they get this kind of idea, maybe with their, 50-60% of their machinery, they can do this. So this is another thing we'll have to start. Maybe next program we'll do that. Thank you.
I also looked into few companies in India which are dedicatedly working in this particular field. I'll share those list with you so that we can invite them as well.
Anybody? Yes.
Thank you. Sir, I am Anirban Roy. So I gone through the whole day sessions. It's finding very interesting and we learn lots of things, and actually our view of nature, this packaging, we are now out of the box, we can think. Now the part is coming that suppose we promote and some entrepreneur may want to start, because this is a huge potential we can looking after. As you already mentioned, from tomorrow, rest in peace for plastic packaging company. So is there any financial support we are getting apart from Stand Up India and other? So is there any specific financial support so that more entrepreneur come from here itself? We are depending, and this is a very good example that banana leaf that is happening in Germany, so that we can replicate. So is there any financial things are getting as a help?
We, this is working, no? We as a promoter of the village industries, eco-friendly industries and all these things, he was talking about the ecopreneur. So in that way you can be in touch with us. We are providing financial assistances with a significant amount of subsidy from the... Okay. So I would love to, I would love to request you to make a visit, at least physically to office, or see the website, our website. So I think with this, if there is no any question, we would like to conclude. Before I conclude, I would like to tell one thing to all of you, is that sustainability, taking care of the mother environment, is the job of every one of us. I would like to narrate a very, very small but very touchy story that I experienced in my life maybe 3 years back. You know, in Northeast there is a village called Morlinong. All of you know, it's the cleanest village in Asia. It is in Meghalaya. One of our mission mode program is promotion of beekeeping, honey mission, because you know, beekeeping is an industry which alone addresses at least 5 goals of the 17 SDGs. I will not go in details. So we thought that we need to reach out to that village and do something contributing to their cleanliness. We went there, we selected 250 progressive farmers and youths. We provided them scientific training on beekeeping, and then we distributed colonies and boxes, everything. So when we did, that was a brief, function. And in the function, the very small, the tiny tot of the school, very small children, they were asked to perform a song. They performed so nicely, and once their song was over, we distributed them chocolates, 1 chocolate each small student. Believe me or not, I was watching them. They consumed the chocolate, and the wrapper of the chocolate, they never threw here and there. They put it in their pocket, and then they said that there is a certain place designated for disposing this, and they will be disposing there. These whom I am talking about will be of age 6, 7 or maximum 8 years. Now this is called transformation. We need to start here, because we need to understand that how we are rearing the next generation, the youngest generation of this society, to face the challenges of the SDGs all over the globe. I remember maybe around 6, 7 years back, I was invited by a MBA institution based in Mumbai to have a talk on tribal entrepreneurship, which is my specialization. I spoke there, and with what they gifted me was a basil plant, tulsi reta horu heri disilimuk. I thought that is the best gift I ever received in my life. There is something we understand, caring Mother Earth. So whatever we say, this should be go in that way. When I was doing my doctoral research, I went to a very remote village of Arunachal Pradesh, and I found that there is a tree called Peramong. This tree, each and every leaf of these trees they use for making compost, which is used for making organic fruits and vegetables. In the easternmost district of this country, bordering China and Tibet. So things are happening. Appropriate technology is there. We need to understand them, we need to do the documentation, and we need to bring it to the public domain. I am extremely grateful to these two learned officers who has made the presentation, making the last perhaps technical session a beautiful, enjoyable journey. I will make a humble request to my dear sisters that try to imbibe all these things. These are for you actually. We have crossed the limit. We are now in the other part of our life. But we hope everything you are to address, you are to understand. Whenever we attend anywhere, any seminar, any conference, take it, it is the learning of your life. We need to live, we need to learn in a manner, Mahatma Gandhi ji said that, you need to learn in a manner that you are dying tomorrow. Whatever best you can learn, you should do. So please remember, thank you. With this, I think the responsibility Apeda has given me is accomplished. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was an amazing session by Mr. Sukamal Deb and his speakers. I would now request Sunita ji, the Assistant General Manager of Apeda and the Regional in charge of Northeastern Region, to please come up on the dais and felicitate our Technical Session 3 Chairman, Mr. Sukamal Deb ji. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause, please? I would now request Mr. Sukamal Deb to please felicitate our speakers. Mr. Manoj Das, Managing Director, NERAMAC, Ministry of Donor, Government of India. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause, please? And now we would like to felicitate Mr. Nitin Singh. Mr. Nitin Singh is the Finance Services Specialist, ARIAS Society, Assam Agri-Business and Rural Transformation Projects, APART, Guwahati. Can we have a round of applause, please? Thank you so much. And now, I would like to invite on the stage Mrs. Sunita Rai, Assistant General Manager, Apeda and Regional in charge of Northeast Region, to please come and give us the closing remarks for the day. Can we have a round of applause, please?
Very good afternoon to all. I know this is a very, long day session from the morning. Somebody has come at 9 o'clock to be here till 5:30. I really appreciate and very thankful to all the participants who are there throughout the day, and then for your patience listening. I know to listen it's hard, to sit and just listen, but then there are people who are really interested in the subject, and I think it is also a very pride moment for us also to organize such kind of workshop that is for natural packaging, because I think nobody has talked so far about natural packaging. Now, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, we are focusing so much on natural farming. Earlier we were talking about organic, organic, then unless there is a certification, it does not work. And then now the time has come for natural farming. And then I'm just happy to say that few days back at Vivanta, we just organized the first conference of its kind. That is on natural farming, organic and GI. So the topic has been done, but then I think that is not the end. We should also talk about packaging. So with the same, line, today we organize the first of its kind on natural packaging, and we hope that we continue to do such kind of workshop just to, create awareness among all the consumers, among all the business people, among all the experts, that there is, the thing has to come for sustainability at the end. So that is it, and then I'm very happy to be among the midst, to be among all of you, to be just concluding the remarks. I know it is a very tough job to summarize all what the experts have spoken just before. I'll just try to, I may not be able to give justice to what they have spoken, but then I'll just take a few points of what they have spoken. Just to sum up, we had 3 technical sessions. It's just a recap of what everybody has heard. We had 3 technical sessions covering 10 presentations from various speakers. So that the 10 presentations that covered the 3 sessions were on the natural packaging. They spoke on the design and technology, and the second session, they spoke on the innovations in industry, application, and the last was the export market, of course. The first technical session we had Mr. Raja Singh, who is the president of Vanvasi Raksha Parivar Foundation, New Delhi, and he highlighted about history of Indian civilization, how Indian culture got an impact on ancient packaging. Indian culture is 1,000 years old, and our culture is relevant to Greek culture. The presentation has made a good beginning of our conference from the very start. The second speaker we had was Dr. Deb Kumar Chakraborty, who was the former professor IIT Guwahati and also the former director CIT Kokrajhar, whose topic was on the topic natural packaging and design issues. He highlighted about the importance of design and its correlation with human behavior. Design that needs to be customer friendly and ergonomics part of design, which plays an important role for acceptance by the consumers. He also highlighted different attributes of the design. He gave an example of eggs which are made, the packaging material which were made from bamboo in a vertical position so as to facilitate the ease of carrying. Then we had a speaker, Mr. Kamesh Salam, who was the CEO from the South Asia Bamboo Foundation, whose topic was on the bamboo-based natural packaging Indian scenario. He highlighted about the characteristics of bamboo, which is 100% biodegradable and sustainable. He also mentioned that Northeastern states is a hub of bamboo packaging materials, and there is a need to improve upon the branding and marketing aspects in order to have more utilization of the bamboo-based packaging material. He also emphasized that only matured bamboo should be used for any kind of bamboo-based packaging material. Then we had Dr. Mahadev Datta, who is the Deputy Director and Head from the National Jute Board. He highlighted about the application of jute fiber for making different types of packaging material, which of course everybody knows that jute is an excellent natural material which is 100% biodegradable and sustainable. He also talked about the different schemes implemented by the National Jute Board for marketing and promotion of all kinds of jute-based products. Followed by the technical session 2. The technical session 2 spoke on the natural packaging material innovations and industry application, which everybody of you heard. So we had the first speaker, Mr. Sukumar Habom, who is a designer and coordinator from Bamboo Forum of India. So his topic was on the natural packaging and its opportunities in the export market, and he highlighted different types of bamboo-based designs. He also explained his long-term experience with the Bamboo Forum of India. And then we had Dr. Gautam Das, who is the assistant professor from NIFTM, the branch office in Guwahati. He also highlighted on the various type of storage and packaging system, and then he also spoke about a simulation test for packaging application, which is among so many other things he has spoken. Then we heard from Professor Sanjukta Patra from IIT Guwahati, who spoke and then deliberated on agriculture waste into value-added products, where agro-based materials such as the cellulose content can be utilized for packaging application, and food waste can also be converted into value-added products for packaging. Followed by the technical session 3, that was the last session which was after the lunch. So it was on the market opportunities. We had two speakers, Mr. Manoj Das, who is the MD in RMAC. He talked about various different natural products and its market opportunities. Then he also spoke about the RMAC initiatives, and then the scheme of MOVCT, which NetFee and RMAC is also implementing. And then he also spoke about the organic certification, the GI products which Neramic is having the custodian of so many GI agro products of the northeastern region. Then he also talked about the documents that are required for export. Followed by we had Mr. Nitin Singh, who is the financial service specialist from Ares Society, apart Guwahati. His presentation was very insightful, and then he had given so many examples, such as the bags made from pineapple, the edible food packaging from the seaweed, single-use coffee, to name a few of the presentation which he has spoken. And then beautifully he has explained on the marketing aspects of natural materials and also the export opportunity that could arise from this kind of sustainable natural packaging material. That was in short, just to summarize and then recap of all the speakers had said. And then we had a technical souvenir being released. I hope all of you had got a copy. If you have not got a copy, please contact at the registration desk. You can take a copy of all the presentation what the speakers had spoken. They have made it in a very good compiled in a book form. So I think that will be very useful for you for your future reference. You can please take that copy. And I think I will not take much time, and then tea is ready. Please have tea. And thank you for the patience listening, and then thank you for being here. And I thank everybody from the Miss Ankita, who was the moderator for the session, to the IT team who is controlling, because this is also live in the YouTube session, and then it is also going parallelly with the Cisco WebEx line. Then this is in hybrid mode. Many of you are also here, and then to all the press people, and then all the government officials, state officials, all the participants, the business people, the packaging experts, all the speakers, and everybody. Thank you so much. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sunita ji. I would like to now call on stage Dr. Professor N.C. Saha, the Chairman of FIPS and former Director, Indian Institute of Packaging, Government of India, to please felicitate Mrs. Sunita Rai ji. Sunita Rai ji is the Assistant Managing Director of Apeda. Can we please have a round of applause? And now I would like to invite on stage Mr. S. Bhattacharjee, former Managing Director, Neramac, Ministry of Donor, Government of India. And I would like to call Mr. Saha on stage to please give him a small momentum. Can we have a round of applause, please? We would now like to give a small momentum to Mr. V.K. Vidyarthi, who is the General Manager of Apeda and in charge NPNP for the Government of India. Professor N.C. Saha, please do the needful. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for all the students who've attended the conference today, we have your certifications to be given out to you. I would like to announce the names one after the other, and we would like you to please come on stage and collect your certificates. Miss Narim Langlenthoy Devi. Sorry? Call everybody first, yeah.
Me and Sunita will be handing over the
Okay.
certificate.
Can I please have Dr. N.C. Saha and Mrs. Sunita Rai on the stage, please? And now for the certification, can I please call upon stage Miss Narim Langlenthoy Devi? Everybody else, can we please have a round of applause for the students? Miss Niharika Das, Miss Mausham Talukdar, Mr. Mausham Talukdar, Sure. Sweetie Das. Hiranya Kumar Gogoi. Dr. Syed Alamdar Hussain. Sweetie Das? Yeah. Hiranya Kumar Gogoi. Dr. Syed Alamdar Hussain. Pratikhoya Datta. S. Dholekhi. Bhargavi Saikia. Pranamika Deka. Minisrang Basumatari. Pragon Joy Rang. Ashranaila Marak. Seema Barumatari. Mokibul Islam. Hiramoni Das. Kritakshi Lakhane. Sainbormati Rimbai. Arif Billah. Paimadi Bathari. Sumaina Basumatari. Mahmudul Hussain. Prerna Nath. In case your name has not been called out or you have not received your certification, you can collect it outside from the registration desk. Can we have a round of applause for everybody who's received certificates? Thank you, sir, and thank you, ma'am. With this, I, Ankita Bilawat, your host for the day, would sign off. Thank you. And before we go, Assam aaye hain to? You definitely should have chai. So chai or tea is being served outside at the same place. Thank you.